Give it a second to load, and there we go. Probably get some notifications sent out, and people will hop on over. But yeah, so Netflix news. Schwab was Monday, Monday morning. So that's old news at this point. Tesla. What else we got? Let's see. Back is back. Well, wait. What about back, Josh? It's like as flat as any other bank stock. Am I supposed to get excited for like a 1% change in price? This isn't SPY. I expect my stocks to be volatile. Let's see how the portfolio is doing. You got BBBY up another 20% for the second day in a row. GameStop down 3%, AMC down 3%, RE somehow up 6%, and tech, all of tech is a little red. So yeah, sounds about right. Wall rocketed up, and the next bank is PACW. You heard it here second. Why PACW? What's going on there? Up 21% in pre-market. Damn. Morning, Hardy.
Good morning, everyone.
Oh,
I was chatting with another ape earlier today, and it turns out IV is surprisingly low, almost like a calm before the storm. And so I'm currently looking at getting a 410, 420 strangle on SPY expiring May 3, which is the day that the Fed funds rate is announced. The thesis is that the IV for the May 3 expiration will increase between now and May 3 in anticipation of the rate hike or the rate announcement, whether or not there's a change. What's unclear and what I'm trying to figure out is how much theta will burn in the next 14 days, and will that increase in implied volatility multiplied by the vega overcome that burn? In the meantime, the usual plays are up, half on a double, as well as Reddit. This time in the what's it called? In the tone of a sheep, like a technical analysis.
the tone of a sheep. Can you give us a line from the that's particularly sheepish?
Let's see. No, they make reference to bad analysis and not much else.
I love it. Any names I
Charming,
recognize here?
charming style. Um, Keep in mind the Fed funds rate announcement is May 3. What I'm trying to figure out is if the potential implied volatility increase will be greater than the theta burn for Fed funds rate.
I have a question.
Shoot.
So yesterday after market close, we saw Netflix take a pretty big dive, losing I forget exactly how much. I think it was about $8 or $9.
It was the DVD business being shut down, right?
The DVD business being shut down. Yeah. So I'm reading now that they failed to meet what analysts are predicting for first quarter earnings and new subscribers. Do you think this is going to have a particularly large effect on the stock price, or do you think it'll be able to climb back up?
That depends entirely on Netflix's cost of content. I've noticed in recent days a dramatic increase in cooking shows and reality shows surrounding dating. I can only imagine how cheap, relatively speaking, those shows are to produce versus something like, I don't know, a serial show. I
Okay.
don't really watch TV or Netflix, so that's probably part of the problem.
All right. Sounds good. And then Tesla supposed to report earnings today after market close. Do you think that they're going to, if you had to guess, would you assume that they're going to outperform or underperform analysts' predictions?
I don't know. Could go up, could go down.
Okay.
Part of the trouble is what analysts believe and what the markets believe don't always align. So going by analyst guesses is usually, well, he's not always right. That's partly why I augment the analyst expectation against options open interest to see what the premium is and figure out where the market expects the price to move.
Okay. All right. Well, that was all. Thank you.
Eager Beaver, you're probably right. That's the wrong strike. Whatever is the. Let me see if what I did here. Should be $10 calls, not $19 calls. Thank you for flagging. Let me quickly update the Reddit post so I don't lead any other apes astray.
My apologies, guys. Not sure what was going on with the stream there. Let me know if you can hear it now. But it should be okay. Like I increase the volume to the maximum possible. I don't know why it just like completely changes how loud everything is within like every single day. I really don't understand.
Malcolm Makamea, I thought you were in France, or was that just a layover? And not a lot of volume on the May 3 SPY contract, so unfortunately I won't be able to price out, well, I won't be able to price out the impact of IV against theta until market opens. I'm so sorry for your suffering, Malcolm Makamea. I never did like Charles de Gaulle, and I don't think the French like me flying through it either. Can we just call you 3M? Is that okay? All fingers crossed that most of banking suddenly has to realize those unrealized losses. Oh, I have no doubt that there's a rug pull on the way. The problem is figuring out when, so we can buy the appropriate SQQQ or equivalent. Sound of the culture, I have been the only one speaking recently. So that's the thing, is that 7Z? Because VIX is so low, and because Fed fund rate is so uncertain for now, I'm wondering to what extent we can take advantage of the price of the IV going up relative to buying a strangle. So we'll know more at maybe 9:35.
Good morning, gentlemen and ladies.
Good morning, everyone.
Good.
I think it was
I
Java.
have a proper Wall Street Bets story for you guys today.
But we want plays.
Yeah, it involves a play. Okay, so I was a little upside down. I had 15 calls on WAL. I had a $40 call on a strike price of $40 and the expiration date of this upcoming Friday. So like any other Wall Street Bets regard, I was a little upside down on those 15 calls, and I was like, look, there's 10-cent calls yesterday. So yesterday morning I picked up 100 10-cent calls. Needless to say, I think I'm going to be cashing them out today.
Congratulations.
Chat is very, very hyped for you.
Well,
But they
some of them.
Well, I figured there was, I figured there wasn't a better place to share it than Wall Street Bets. I was like, you know what? I'm like,
What you
it's
do
not.
is you take a screenshot and post the game porn.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Java. I'm sure he knows the drill. No, don't boo this man. I'm sorry. I think telling people to not boo you backfired.
Also, well, yeah, why are you booing? I mean, I have shared the WAL play for the last like 3 times that I was up here.
Really, Hendrix, you too?
Betrayal.
I mean, isn't the whole thing to like not like down talk like our fellow regards, right?
Well, for
I think
some phrases are terms of endearment, like congrats and fuck you.
That's awesome.
Don't get offended, Java.
Oh, I'm not. I know. I'm taking it all in the best fun.
Oh no, I just wanted to call the chat poor, but then you cut me off. But it's okay.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna take the heat for you. I was gonna call them all a bunch of poors, and who cares because they just lost their last $5 on a share anyway. But now it's done. I'm sorry. I was gonna pull your heat.
Java, you know, you have a good point there, 3M. I don't think we've ever seen Java and Scald in the same room. Maybe this is what happens when Scald disappears
and I
into
have
the
definitely been in the
cornfield.
same room. No, I was in the same room several times. I was in the room when Scald blew his tire, right?
Is that what Scald's calling it nowadays?
He was I think Hardy was actually trying to calculate the distance with like how much pressure it was or something like that.
Why would I do that?
I'm pretty sure he just asked ChatGPT for that though.
Eventually I'll get around to making model of my voice, so I can always talk back.
So I will say,
Yeah, I'd sign up for that version of Chat GPT that literally like gave me its answers in Hardy's voice. Yeah, sign me up for that.
So,
I'll-
for those of you looking for plays, go to WallStreetBets, look up Hardy Rection, or go to halfonadouble.com and click on latest plays. And you'll be greeted with 10 plays picked from 2 different strategies that rely on a similar thesis used 2 different ways. Thank you, Hands Like Paper.
So if anyone managed to get those Pure Cycle puts yesterday, you bought into a minus like 8% day. So hey, there's a win from something we brought up on the talk.
Optional
go.
trader, these are options plays medium term, up to maybe 3 weeks. In practice, most of them should realize a reasonable amount of profit within a week. If they don't, consider redeploying your capital.
Am I hearable now or am I not hearable?
Must be the
hearable.
wind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Discord has this weird things where sometimes you're not actually muted, but it will just like stop making you be heard for a little bit. It's hard to tell when it happens.
Yeah, I've definitely been caught in that a few times.
I've been caught in it, and sometimes it does that, and then no amount of like refreshing will make it go away, and you're just kind of like shadow muted.
That's
So
true,
what I found worked really well for me was I have this app called Greenify, and it will shut down it'll basically force stop Discord, and then after I force stop Discord, when it boots back up, it usually repairs itself.
I'm guessing you're on mobile.
The Discord version, yes, I'm on mobile, so this way I could use push to talk easy, and then I can use my computer to research.
I see. You should get a computer with multiple screens.
You
Well-
are correct, and after today's play, I might.
Well, so I was just bringing up Pure Cycle, which we talked about getting puts on yesterday, that had a minus 8% day, so hopefully some people were able to get that. I know the bid ask was a little weird, so I don't know if people could get in.
Is that PCYO, Papa Charlie Yankee Oscar?
It's PCT, Pure Cycle Technology. They're like doing water treatment, pulling plastics out of it, but we've gone over for a while. That's a Scald play that he identified as pretty much just a fake company that keeps dissolving and reforming under a new name to just pay its CEOs a bunch of money.
You should tell Hindenburg and then buy short positions ahead of telling
Hindenburg has like a massive report on them. That's how Scald found out about it. It's like he said it was
Oh,
like
I
a
see.
50-page report about them.
That sounds about right. Should have GPT-4 summarize it for us.
Yeah, anyway, the long story short is Scald found it through Hindenburg that has a big report. He's been watching it for a while, but they de-SPAC'd like 2 years ago and have been pretty much just living off that cash. And now they're running out, and then who was it? Luce ran the math and essentially figured out that, I think it was last month, he ran the math and was like, they have like 3 months worth of cash left on hand, and then they're gonna have to figure something out.
And looking at Nintendo, I'm expecting their earnings call in May to go very well. I finally last night got around to watching the Super Mario movie, and I thought it was pretty good. Had a lot of little Easter eggs for anyone who's a deep Nintendo fan, including the obscure Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
And the Jumpman arcade game that was
Yes.
in the background.
Yes, I saw that as well. I'm glad someone else saw that.
I
So-
very much enjoyed that movie, and I loved the background Easter eggs. That was my favorite. I think my favorite was the antique shop.
Is Nintendo planning on making a bunch of like Nintendo movies, or was this kind of a trial for them to
Yes.
see if they could build a
This is
universe out of
definitely the
it?
trial run. I think there's.
Sorry, they
Go ahead.
have a whole phase 1 that is being released. Supposedly, I'll see if I can find the picture. I'm pretty sure I took a screenshot of it. But they were in a yeah, there's a phase 1. I think the next movie that's supposed to be released is Legend of Zelda, which actually kind of upsets me a little bit because I didn't want it to be a movie. I wanted it to be a series.
It wasn't in the budget.
As long as this all ends with an Avengers-styled mashup for Super Smash Brothers, I'm okay with it.
Yes, there is a Smash Brothers movie on that that phase 1 photo.
Oh, nice! Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Let's go.
But they've already done a Legend of Zelda series.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Oh my gosh, no! Oh, rad! I can't believe you just did that.
Well played, sir.
I heard it was very popular.
There you go. That's the picture supposedly from the event that they released their phase 1 for the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Honestly, I'm actually super excited about Earthbound. I'm a huge Earthbound fan.
You know, if that movie does well, they might actually make another Earthbound game, which they haven't done in like over a decade, right? Maybe even longer.
Yeah, I think longer.
Same story for Metroid. It's been more than a decade. They almost released one and then they redid it.
I thought they had one for the 3DS like 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah, but it was in like a mainline one, I think. Like the Metroid Prime series.
I get you. Yeah, no, but this could be good if those movies do well. That'll encourage them to release more games that kids will want to play. So, it'd be a thing.
Yeah, I want to see a barrel roll in Star Fox.
So, long story short, calls on or shares in Nintendo.
Yes.
Yeah, man, shares
Unfortunately,
in
the only thing
Nintendo.
you can do is long on Nintendo. I really wish they'd put options on it.
Someone asked if there's a possibility of the banks rallying up to pre-SVB crash before the rug pull, and it's definitely maybe.
I would enjoy that wholeheartedly.
Let's see. Let's have a look at XLF on XLF. Yeah, less likely. Gamma max on XLF is currently 34, and it's well below the 37 that we were at pre-SVB. So prepare accordingly. Gird your loins.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, Hardy. There is no options on anything in the Nikkei market, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think the Japanese market has options at all because I think it's like against their culture. Like the whole puts thing to like bet on a company to fail is against their culture.
Nintendo's ADR is NTDOY. Whoever's asking.
They do also have the NTDOF, but that one doesn't get traded as much. If I remember right, the NTDOF is a 1-to-1 reflection of the shares, and then there's I can't remember what the ratio is for the NTDOY.
Do ADRs get taxed differently? Or are there any like weird tax rules that go into them?
I believe
You
they're
get
taxed
a
in the
foreign
country
tax
of origin.
credit.
I'm sorry, you both spoke at the same time. I couldn't.
They're taxed by the country of origin. So TSM, for example, is an ADR. I believe it's one of the few that has. Anyway, either way, you pay taxes to the Taiwanese government when you receive TSM dividends.
And then it's eligible for foreign tax credit. So I actually got a deduction on my taxes because of the taxes I had to pay on my Nintendo dividend.
Is that particularly complicated when you're filing, or is that pretty
Your broker's
straightforward?
supposed to handle that.
Okay.
Yes.
If
All
they
I had to
don't,
do was
get
link.
another broker.
All I had to do was link my Fidelity stuff to TurboTax, and they were able to pull all the information.
And I assume any share gains would also be taxed by the foreign entity or whatever foreign nation is as well, right?
Correct.
So wait, do you get double taxed? Does the U.S. then also tax your gains as well?
No, what they do is the tax treaty usually sets it up in such a way that the foreign tax is paid to the foreign entity, and then the amount of tax paid is removed from the tax bill in the U.S.
Awesome, thanks, Weave and Hardy.
Again, not financial advice. Check with licensed tax preparer, etc., etc. Yeah, 3M, when you were in France, how bad were the protests as you were driving out of Paris toward the German border?
Yeah, they don't like the fact that they're going to raise the retirement age.
I thought it's been raised. Didn't it get signed into law already?
I hadn't heard that. I had heard that basically it had cleared the constitutional court that it could be done, so they were working on doing it.
Are the French pension funds under extreme stress, or is this just France wants to raise the age?
They're overdue for a revolution.
Fair enough.
Well, I mean, that's the national pastime of France, I swear.
All the French do is protest. I don't know what it is about anymore. Like first was climate change, now it's all the pensions.
You haven't been to Paris recently, have you?
Dude, the
Been a
French
good 3
love
years
a
since
good
I've been there.
riot.
Okay.
I've been to Paris once. It was the worst 2 hours of my life.
Paris
Yeah,
is
sure.
terrible. France is terrible.
Charles de Gaulle is not a picnic, I know that much.
But they do love a good riot.
Ez was pretty cool. Ez is this little castle on like the top of a mountain. You have to walk up it like a mile, but it's like in the middle of nowhere, and it's very interesting to see a society built off of the fact that you can't take the car up to your house, and you have to walk a mile away.
Fun.
Yeah, anyone listening in the audience, please don't hesitate to give us your plays. You're more than welcome to bring your hand up and we'll let you speak and give us your play.
There we go. Job's not over yet, Mr. Bot.
Poor bot, forced to play the same 2-minute, 30-second music over and over again.
God, I'm sure it loves it. Oh, look, people are taking you up on your offer. People are coming up. Samanco Weekly Tradition. New faces?
Can you guys hear me?
We
Yes.
can.
All right, who's playing Tesla today? Calls, puts?
Are you playing Tesla today?
I'm gonna wait till the first 30 minutes, see where it goes, and then probably go from there. Thinking about
So the whole
YOLOing some weeklies here, some 2 DTEs on Tesla today.
the whole, and correct me if I'm wrong, story around Tesla is the fact that they cut prices, and while other auto manufacturers have seen absolutely ridiculous delays of up to 2 years or longer, in the case of Toyota, Tesla's cutting prices. So something doesn't add up. Are people losing interest in Teslas? Are they mispriced for what they're offering?
Tesla is
What's going
trying
on?
to force a price war because their margins on cars are much larger, affording them the ability to cut prices and prevent the other car manufacturers from realizing the same margins that they have.
To be honest, the MSRP of cars in the last 2 years as well too has been insane.
Looks like Tesla is down roughly 3% pre-market.
That's right. And we've got earnings after hours, so that's why we're talking about it. Um,
The other thing on Tesla is the Chinese EV manufacturers are absolutely kicking ass. So the price reduction might also be a response to that. I guess the Chinese EV sales have increased by 60% year on year, if they're to be believed.
I'm looking at all the other, automotive companies, and I'm not seeing particularly steep dips, in response to Tesla's price cut. So I suspect they're not truly going to feel much pressure if markets aren't reacting.
Just curious how the intraday is gonna look. It's gonna be sideways, gap up, slow bleed.
The earnings?
The intraday before earnings.
Difficult to say, but the other thing to consider is based on their latest, so their annual estimate
I mean, with them being, they're only slightly down, but if they're down, I guess that means people are expecting them to not have either good forward guidance or might miss earnings.
Well, I think the pre-market drop is just because of the price cuts, Model Y price cuts.
Yep.
could be.
Genome, where you
But yeah, they targeted 1.8 million units of production for this year, which on a quarterly basis, that's 450,000 units a quarter, and they were slightly below that in their latest production numbers. I think they came in at like 423,000, so they're off by around 27,000 units from their annual production target. So that might impact their whether they or not they get close to the analyst estimate for earnings.
All right, so to sum it all up for you, Semanco, we remain divided on Tesla and have no clear direction one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna play
So
Strangler or Straddle or something like that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get some 2 DTEs. I'm probably just gonna gamble this one. Expiring April 21st. I'm gonna sell before close though, not holding these through earnings.
there you go.
Good morning, everyone. I just had I bought my first stock and options the other day. I got calls and puts on FRC for 17. I was just wondering what everyone's opinions on those. They expire the 28th, and we get an earnings report on the 24th for FRC. Thank you.
Well, what's new in the FRC story? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just confirming, is it a straddle or a strangle that you're doing?
I bought two separate. I bought calls and 17, puts for 11, both on the 28th expiring.
How far away are the strike prices?
I think FRC, what's it? Let's see. It is at 1258, 1290 pre-market, so it doesn't have to go too far down. But if the earnings reports are good, it should go hopefully back up again to the 20s, like not soon, but maybe in a week or so.
I know there was discussion because they moved the earnings date that people are concerned that it might be bad.
Yeah, that's what I was considering as well. So I just wanted to, it's kind of like an experiment, my first time buying options. So I'm just kind of seeing where it goes. But just wondering what you guys' thoughts are on it.
To me, it feels like the FRC thing has played out. I mean, the last week has been kind of like a slow bleed, and bank earnings are well underway. So everyone is pointing to, or all the other bank earnings have been, you know, great news for them. But I feel like it's at the expense of banks like First Republic Bank. So.
Yeah, FRC has been trading pretty sideways. Doesn't really go up or down much.
It's down like, what is this, 10% in the past week? 11%? It's a fair bit. I mean, when you zoom out and you look at the massive drop around March 8th, March 10th, like, yeah, sure, but still quite hefty. So I don't know. Long story short, I wouldn't see that. I don't see this kind of like reversing trend anytime soon. I'm not sure if anyone else has an opposing view.
I definitely think Wall is better. I did good on that when the disruption happened in the banking system, but I took a gamble on FRC and it didn't play out too well. But I think it's just going to stay stagnant. Hopefully something will happen, but it's just one of those stocks.
MTB is another one that's kind of been trading flat, that Scald was talking about for a while. Wait, did Bed Bath & Beyond actually do it? They actually filed for bankruptcy? No.
I don't see how they're up like 20% in pre-market, aren't they?
Bankruptcy is bullish. Just ask Revlon or all the other companies.
The reason why bankruptcy is bullish is because debts are potentially going to be charged off. So suddenly the assets don't have to pay for nearly as many liabilities.
So there is a legitimate reason to be bullish about bankruptcy, but it's also the fact that remember these are Bed Bath and Beyond investors.
Well, no, hold on. I don't think they are actually going bankrupt. Leonidas lied to me. Leonidas, I'm looking at you. But uh, if they were to jump, I think the only catalyst that could cause this would be them getting closer to closing a round of funding, their $300 million equity raise, I think, that would stave off bankruptcy.
It says that they've just narrowly been able to avoid it so far. They had to shut down all their stores in Canada.
But they've announced their plan to shut down stores like quarters ago, right? Like this was back when I think Bed Bath and Beyond first, like that Gustavo guy had tripped and fell. So the story of them shutting down stores has been going on for quite some time.
I keep asking the store by me, and while their inventory is not filling up as quickly as normal, they insist that there is no news about them shutting down at any time soon.
Just wait till the next earnings call; they'll find out.
I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because I'll just go in and grab like some pots and pans at whatever they're selling them for to get rid of that stuff. So I keep like checking, being like, "Are you guys going out of business yet? Are you having your like closing for good sale? How about now?" They keep saying no.
Real quick on Bobby. So I was watching them for the last couple of weeks just because the price got so low that it was, and it hadn't had its little dead cat bounce. And I was watching them for news on bankruptcy, and then they had their earnings was scheduled for last week on Friday, and instead on the Friday, what came out was a filing that suggested that they actually made it through the first leg of their debt restructuring with J.P. Morgan. And although it has not taken bankruptcy off the table, it's a success as far as them getting through the first couple payments. It states explicitly in that filing, this does not mean they have the money to make even the next payment, but they did make this payment. And that was when I YOLO'd into 50-cent calls and a bag of shares. Because basically the news has been so bad and the situation is so bad surrounding this company. And I'm bearish on the company overall and the outlook, but I don't really think there's anything SUGov can say that won't be bullish at this point. It's like they got all the shittiest possible news out of the way. The stock got so pummeled that it almost like it's going to zero or it's got to go up. Like it literally couldn't sit at that 25-cent mark because it made no sense. Like if it's going to continue, it's got to go to zero, like just file. But if you're not going bankrupt, then yeah, your fair value is well above 25 cents. But they never did have their earnings. Their earnings was scheduled from the 12th to the 17th of April, and they never had their call. So I think that was it. I think they just literally just released that filing, and earnings are shit, but they have a plan. Yeah, I'm not saying MOAS. I'm not saying any of that shit. I'm not saying Bed Bath and Beyond to $7 or any of that garbage, but definitely not 25 cents.
So is anybody going to get in on that today, just to take the ride and see where it goes, or what?
Well, the ride's already up 20%. We're at 41 cents in pre-market, so.
Well, I was saying there. It looks like they were saying so far like 60 million's been moved around pre-market already.
That was a lot more impressive back when the stock was, over $1, but that's still, what's it?
And one more thing to keep in mind.
It's crazy to think that now a $7 price for Bed Bath and Beyond would be considered MOAS.
But it would. Just like percentage wise, that would be a full on squeeze. But another thing to bear in mind is that they filed but haven't acted on their ability to do a share offering. So believe it or not, if you do see more of a run on the stock right now, and it does, for whatever reason, decide to pump over the next week, there's a good chance that Bed Bath and Beyond is going to sell into that, and that will actually short-term crush any sort of upward momentum, but that will probably get them through the next payments as well. So I mean, the company's a tire fire, but there is reason for hope. At least if you're on the C-suite and being paid with stock-based compensation.
I think it's also, interesting to note that a lot of times, like liquidation sales can be very lucrative and actually quite profitable. Might sound like, oh, a company is going bankrupt, they have to sell things at a steep discount, but the liquidation industry has gotten like really, really good at what they do. And a lot of times, like a third party comes in to help along with the process. They've got experience typically with many different retailers, so they've seen what works and what doesn't. So I wouldn't hang on too tight as a consumer looking for a good deal, but I find that they'll probably end up seeing more profit from almost the like quote unquote free advertising that a bankruptcy sale brings with it, or store closing sales bring with it, than they might in regular times. It's almost too bad that they didn't go bankrupt during Q4 and start doing their store closings then.
What are people expecting?
Holiday shopping for
Bed Bath and Beyond.
Sorry, someone was speaking very quietly.
Bed Bath and Beyond. What are people thinking that's gonna go to?
0.
Some people say the moon. Other people say 0.
I'll buy
Are there any remaining Bed Bath and Beyond bulls out there? If you are still extremely bullish on Bed Bath Beyond, even though you're down 99%, please raise your hand.
Yeah, let's see in the comments who's any Bed Bath and Beyond holders in the audience. There's 390 of you, so there has to be some.
You mean bag holders?
We don't judge.
Yeah,
Who knows?
we do.
Maybe they bought. Okay, yes, that is true. But look, maybe they held like 2 days ago and they're up almost 100% or like 60-50%. So,
Like I just gave the bull thesis for Bed Bath and Beyond. Right now, the bull thesis is managing their debt. If they manage their debt, bankruptcy's off the table. They'll go back up to a fair value. I still think their company's a fucking train wreck, but if they can manage their debt, and that means that they do not have to broker a deal for Bye Bye Baby, and they can hold that IP or that brand under their umbrella, both brands become more valuable. I'm not telling you to go leaps on Bed Bath and Beyond, but I'm just saying that there is now signs that there may be a bull case for Bed Bath and Beyond. The going to zero thing is getting weaker, right? Like that's all I'm saying. They're obviously fighting it back, and they're not quite as regarded as we thought they were.
All right, we got Fat Cat up here. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a small purchase of Bed Bath & Beyond, 2,000 shares last week. I turned around and did a $500, 5 contracts of puts on it as well. So I'm up 100%, plus I'm making money on the puts. So.
Boom, mic drop.
So if anybody wants to talk about flows before the market opens up, expiration hit at, this morning before market open. That usually indicates that if it's a call heavy OPEX, things are gonna start looking shaky going into middle of next week. That's what Jem Carson calls its window weakness. This is a call heavy OPEX. The last one was February. The one before that was August. Both times we were at around 4150 SPX and VIX was around 16. And both times it crashed. We consolidated for a week before making a big move down. So just something to think about as you go about your day and trading in the next 10 minutes. this could also be a bear bait scenario because if VIX reset, what we've been seeing is that VIX gets crushed during the day because of zero DTE flow. So there might be a mean reversion play towards the end of the day, or maybe right off the open. But something to consider about this is, a pretty call heavy OPEX. Call wall set at 4200 SPX and at 4115 on the SPY. All right, that's it.
So you said we. Who is we?
The market. The market saw these things. That was great analysis. Thank you, Trade. Yeah, the gentleman has it right. That was so informative. You all hated it. Look, now there's like a little brief moment. Did you guys follow all that? Or was it because there was like no buy puts on X? You guys are lost.
Just waiting for market movement so I can figure out the SPY Greeks for May 3.
Ooh.
It's worth buying.
Yeah, Hardy, I'll stay on. I want to have your read on it to see what you're seeing. If you share that, I'd be very, very grateful.
So, for those who didn't hear it earlier, Fed funds rate announcement is on May 3, and that's when the rate will be announced. The implied volatility for SPY is particularly low, and so I'm wondering if the IV increase between now and May 3 can outpace the theta burn, and if it's possible, buy strangles.
So, given that VIX is where it is, straight puts, with enough time, should not have to worry too much about theta burn. Just the way it is, spreads would be.
The play wouldn't be on VIX itself; it would be a strangle on SPY in
Yeah, no.
anticipation of the Fed rate announcement.
Okay, so are you gonna sell? Are you gonna short it or are you gonna long it, eventually?
If IV is expected to increase faster than theta decreases,
So you're
long
gonna
the strangle.
long the strangle?
If the reverse is true, look into an iron condor. Depends on how wide the spread is between the change in IV and theta.
Right.
I won't know that for another 7 minutes.
7 minutes, yeah. Okay. Well, if I expect the market to move down, I think I'm just gonna try and open some longer dated puts, something in the June expiry, probably. I'll see again, what the Greeks look like before I choose to strike. But what might be a good thing to think about down the line is if spot volatility for May 3rd is gonna increase, it might be fun selling strangles or shorting volatility somehow because the day that's removed, you get a rate here or there, your volatility is going to get crushed. So I'll be a vol seller at that point.
Okay.
So Hardy, how do you feel TSM's gonna perform tomorrow?
No idea.
Why? What's up with TSM?
Well, the earnings are tomorrow.
So one of the running. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
So one of the things regarding TSM I've heard floating around is that TSM is gonna cut their guide for the year. Like they're basically gonna lower their guide, but that they would be calling essentially a bottom on the cycle. So it might be that they miss and they lower their forward guidance, but it might be the kind of situation where they rally off of that, because markets are forward looking, investors are forward looking, and they can, if TSM ends up calling the bottom of the cycle for them for being this year, you might see their stock go up anyways.
Plausible.
Semiconductors are such a weird thing, and you have to kind of trade them almost counterintuitively. I feel I am not particularly good at any of them other than trading Nvidia, so and maybe Snowflake, but I've gotten burned on semiconductors a couple of times, and I tend to stay away from big ones like TSM.
People in the comments talking about Pepe. It's apparently this weird shit token that pumped up a lot. Would probably not recommend hopping on any of those trains. Someone I think got put in like $1,000 early on, probably the group behind it, and I think it's up that investment is up to like 9 million now. So only buy it if you want to get dumped on. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, I'll post the graph. If you really want to go get scammed.
Well, my rule for like shitcoins is if you're hearing about it now, you're probably too late.
True. It's 2020. What? When is it? Why is it 2021 again, Coco? Like where? 2021 was a beautiful time. Everything just went up. All you needed to do was go long and you made money. And then 2022 happened. We don't talk about 2022. Well, here, on the topic of tokens and all that, do you see this Bitcoin rally continuing?
Nah, Nate, it was not easy being a bear in 2022. Are you kidding me? You'd get like random pops that would just kill the value of your puts. It was not easy. If you timed it right, yeah, it was good, but you had, it was a slow grind down with like random pops. It was so fucking annoying to trade.
Where'd you get burned? Or on what?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I had longer dated puts on SPY, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that move like just killed me, man. Like I had to like take 25% loss on that position. I couldn't hold it any longer. It was just such a grind down, man. Like it was just Anyways, it was annoying. So
Are we shilling shitcoins today?
we're
Yeah,
always
if you
shilling
want.
shitcoins.
What scam you got for us?
Shiba, bro. Man, that one like 27 million X.
Yeah. I should make a shitcoin called Deepfake Coin or something. And just sell that. All right, market's open.
Make a coin called Rug.
Rug pull?
Why not?
That'd be hilarious. Once they get rug pulled, they can't blame anyone, right?
In theory, yes. In practice, not always. So let's see. May 3 Strangle is gonna cost you like $7. Greeks are taking forever to calculate.
Triangle or straddle?
Strangle. 410, 420 Strangle.
Okay.
And Ivy.
Yep. Shit's getting bought up straight off the open.
Yeah, it's 10 points of Vega, so not worth it.
Yeah.
Yep, never.
Well, my Netflix puts got crushed.
Big calls came in on SPY right off the open. Yeah. That was just an artifact. Okay. GE's catching a bid.
I feel like playing Tesla will be like playing Netflix. We'll go one way and then reverse real quick.
Dude, big calls coming in. Everybody should just. I'm just gonna pot into some fucking calls.
Nvidia climbing fast.
Yep. Good luck, Bears.
Speaking of Bears, only play I have for today is the Coinbase $40 puts for 428. They're 4 cents right now. They should be a little bit volatile because of the fact that Armstrong just said considering moving Coinbase out of the US. In general, I just think that this crypto run is pretty much losing steam, and if SPY sells off, Coinbase is coming down too, because that's pretty much leverage is all in crypto right now, and SPY has way too much leverage in tech. I'd rather just play literally Coinbase puts.
Why wouldn't you go with ARK puts or buy SARK calls?
Because Coinbase is where the liquidity is from the exchanges closing down. Okay. And I think that Wells noticed they got and Armstrong floating this UK location is not like something that just came to his mind in the middle of the conversation.
Gotcha. VIX is dropping.
When's oh, sorry.
And
J Bourbon,
sorry,
when's,
VIX is
Rite Aid
dropping
again?
dollar. I apologize. Could you please repeat yourself?
Oh, I was asking J Bourbon when the Rite Aid earnings is.
Oh, I believe it's tomorrow. I can't remember if it's pre-market or post-market. I know Robinhood has like a whole different date. Red calls are red is currently down, so could be a good pickup for some random lottos. The expected move on it was 20%. That's the only reason why I was interested.
Bob is doing well again. Fox News is down 3% today.
I saw they had that.
Yeah, they just had a
100 million, right? Something like that.
Right. It's almost 800 million.
708. Yeah, I was gonna say 800 million.
Yeah, it's almost 800 million. But see, that's less than they would have had to pay, or the damage that would have been done if it was going to a court case. So this might eventually end up being a buy the dip situation.
There's another lawsuit pending though by another firm that has a $2 billion lawsuit against them. So I wouldn't jump on that dip just yet.
Oh, gotcha.
There's one more lawsuit that's pending.
4 million volume on SPY already. Let's see how that holds.
I was looking at new EV or tax reasons, and looks like some of the credits have been changed because the Rivian I was looking at is no longer eligible. I need to do more research, but thinking puts on Rivian.
So they're getting, I talked about this a little bit yesterday, they're getting much stricter on EV tax rules. And the specific reason is because they're changing up how the tax credit is used. It's now or starting in 2024, it's going to become a point of sale credit. So you can actually get the price off the sticker price, and then the dealership uses the credit themselves. So they still make the same amount. But you don't have to wait for your taxes, and it's not dependent on you owing that much.
That's what I figured. I was just
but
like
that's
bummed.
So that's starting in 2024, but
okay.
They're making it much more restrictive in what qualifies. You have to have there's like a bunch of rules, like a certain percentage of the metals have to come from the US or Canada. It has to be a certain amount of like different metal types. I have to read more into it. The article I was reading, I think it was from NPR, essentially said like at this point it looks like Tesla and maybe Chevy will qualify for the full credit once all the information comes out, but a lot of others are not going to get much of it or any of it.
I have a list as of yesterday for the new updates posted in the chat. But yeah, there's a bunch of cars that used to be on there that came off.
It's actually kind of funny because when they made the changes in 2022, Tesla and Chevy were supposed to no longer get that credit going into 23. And then it came back for them, and now it looks like they might be one of the few ones actually still having that, but becoming a point of sale credit, which will be much more attractive to people.
So good guidance after earnings?
I don't think it affects this earnings because it doesn't go into effect until next year.
Correct.
If anything,
so
people
forward
might
guidance
hold.
would be positive.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Sorry, Hardy.
Which could negate bad earnings for the apes in the back.
I would assume so, but they also might see short-term drops in sales because people might, as they become aware of that, might be like, well, then I'm just going to wait until next year to actually purchase a vehicle if I can get that much of a discount on it.
I think the risk that you run is if you're doing a trade-in, the own market is looking like it's dragging down a lot of companies right now. I gotta find the news article from yesterday, but pretty much what I'm looking at is have a high risk of the used market collapsing, and so people are going to run the risk of if they don't trade it in now, their trade-in value is going to take a hit in 3 months.
So I can definitely say I'm excited for the Tesla earnings and throughout the rest of the day. What I'm actually looking for is an entry point into getting some more Tesla at below 175.
Sell puts.
No, I'd actually just be buying shares. But so I'm like mixed right now on if I want to get a put or not, because I do genuinely feel like it seems like it's like clockwork almost that Tesla reports really good earnings or like whatever, like Elon like does his song and dance, and all that, and then literally just the price of Tesla shares goes down. Next day it might like rebound a little bit or it'll go down more. But then over time it comes back up. So that's one of the reasons why I don't want to necessarily perhaps try to time it, because if the pricing doesn't meet the expectations, in that sense, then the options will just get blown out.
What's up, fellas?
So I actually almost feel like it's safer to be on the end of selling the options rather than buying the options. But I am potentially looking at picking up some shares again if it goes below 175.
The amount of calls that are coming across SPY right now makes it seem like they want to fill the gap.
What gap are you looking at? The 421s?
No, just the overnight gap.
Oh, the today's gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still see a gap overall on the upside on 421.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of like bullish indicators out there. There's a lot of bearish ones too. Only thing I've seen that works is try to see if there's a setup for a mean reversion between two big levels and just play that towards the end of the day. Oh, I'm subscribed to a service called Spot Gamma. That's what I'm seeing like live call flow on. It's like 30 seconds delayed.
Just to correct you, you can't have both live and 30-second delayed.
Okay, let's be semantic. As near real-time data as I can get. How about that?
Got it.
Unless, you're a high-frequency trader and you're, before armchair lawyers get started. Yada, yada, yada. For retail, this is one of the better tools. I can show you what S&P looks like on it right now. So this is, I'm dropping a image in chat. This is what it looks like with live flow. So you can see, so this is, I have it on a 1 hour rolling window right now in that screenshot. Orange line is overall delta of calls. The dark blue line is overall delta of longer dated calls. Green line is 0 DTE calls. Delta and the light blue, light like lilac color, because it's like a weird color on my screen. Line is the 0DTE put flow. So I don't have a referral code. I didn't do any of that, man. I don't charge for shit or whatever. This is what it looks like. This is what I use. Oh man, getting roasted. All right.
Another piece of good news is that an actual dying company, Carvana, is down today.
Schwab is up almost 3%.
Yeah, Wall's gonna do a little bit of a mean reverting, most likely. From the chat. I'm completely in agreement with that. That's why I closed all my Wall options on open, just like everybody else was saying they were going to.
Yeah, I got out of my wall position too.
It's not worth the risk, especially if you were doing the 40s, or like the higher strikes. It's just not worth the risk of holding it right now. Yeah, death to Carvana. Like it needs to keep going down. I'll probably be exiting some of my short today because they're under 850. I would definitely say Coin is in trouble, because there's a clown leading the SEC.
Yeah, Congress is getting pretty pissed with him too. I was watching some hearings of him getting interrogated. Gary Gensler getting interrogated, and kind of I'm tired of his shit as well. But you never know with politicians. Half the time, I feel like they're just grilling people just to look good, and they don't really give a shit.
I know at least like one of the representatives is going for like he's to be like voted. And I mean, more power to him. Like the guy's leading like a 5-ring circuit. It's obnoxious. Like he shouldn't sit there and like try to filibuster like questions, things like that. That his agency is making determination, but he himself can't answer simple questions of is it a security or is it not?
Yeah, I remember watching that.
You only have two things that you can say: deal or no deal, right?
Yeah, he was like, these are yes or no questions. But he didn't want to call it a security because then that would bring clarity. And then the next question is, well, why haven't you regulated all these altcoins as securities yet? What are you waiting for? And but he doesn't. But he doesn't. He admitted it was a security, and then he tried to not admit it in the same breath. I just love watching anybody get grilled by Congress up there, whether it's fucking Zuckerberg, fucking even Powell. It's all fun watching them getting grilled.
I mean, if the SEC had clear and transparent regulations, then hey, he could stand up there all day and just answer their questions, sit back like after, like drink some whiskey, have a cigar or whatever, and like just be happy. Instead, he plays games. It's like he wanted to dodge the question so he could be like, all right, let me check my holdings, let's check the agency's holdings, and we'll get back.
Yeah, it's just because he, is under oath, but the incentive is to lie about everything so that he's not kept accountable. So it's like, yeah, it's just funny to watch.
I honestly, I was half expecting him to start explaining about like his childhood in Bulgaria. It is worth a watch if anybody wants to laugh. If anybody's following Grove as well, they're apparently proposing a 1-to-5 to 1-to-25 reverse.
Reverse?
Yep.
Google's gonna reverse split? Is that what we're talking about?
Grove, Grov. Sorry, not Google.
I
Man,
was
if
like,
Google
holy shit.
split, that would be awesome. But
I was like, no way.
I mean, if Google does it, it'd be bullish, I would say.
Well, fuck Netflix.
I mean, they came down a little bit so far, but they're sitting pretty steady.
Yeah, I'm down 20%. 30%, 25%. Luckily, I got a whole month, but I could probably take a loss here or see it through. We'll see.
Sorry, I couldn't respond. I was getting some breakfast because I had to run an errand this morning. Yeah, I mean, if you're down in below 300 on Netflix puts, I would say your most likely only hope right now is that something very negative comes from the FOMC. Or that there's an overreaction to the 25 basis points expected rate hike. But on the bright side, we did get to hear the leadership of Netflix call their list of shows a laundry list. In their pre-recorded, seemingly staged and prompt-driven earnings interview. I mean, I would say investors are probably happy with them cutting the DVD business to be able to refocus the allocation of their equity and assets. That's what most people were saying is that, and that could be another reason on why they're shutting it down is that most people only like see them as like a streaming service. They don't see them as a DVD by mail company. Good point, Sleepy Nate. Blu-ray as well. When it gets closer to actually September, one thing that I'll be looking at is, so now there was lots of confusion the last time I mentioned this, but chicken soup for the soul. And you're probably wondering if you're not in the know already, but why am I talking about chicken soup for the soul? They own Redbox.
Damn, I didn't know that. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, and their share price is like pretty beaten down for the most part. So I think there's a good opportunity there for them to pick up all of the customers that are still interested in uh, physical digital media, also known as like DVDs, Blu-ray discs, and other rentable media. I haven't spent the time to do a full price analysis about how much I think that they're going to make, because I'm going to have to look at how much Netflix is actually going to lose in terms of like DVD subscribers, which have to go through their financials with a little bit more of a fine-tooth comb. Yeah, vinyl records are pretty awesome. The thing is that I don't think they're very successful for renting, because people don't always take good care of like vinyls. If vinyls aren't taken well care of, the vinyls just don't work. And I would say arguably a worse experience than like a damaged DVD, because when you want to listen to music, you want to listen to music.
Can we take a moment to appreciate that NVIDIA is green for the day?
Yeah, I'll definitely appreciate that.
Man, a crush of VIX to 15 would be like in the 15 range would be epic. Because then we can all pile in on shorts.
And then we can all lose money on the shorts together. That was the next thing you were going to say, right?
Yeah, man, because you know, Where's the stupid? I mean, the answer is simple. If Tesla tanks, so serious message 3747. If Tesla tanks tomorrow, buy the dip.
Anybody in any of these stocks for continuous glucose monitoring systems? They're rallying pretty hard here on the news of Medicare expansion for type 2 diabetes. So ABT, Abbott Labs, DXCM, Dexcom. Dexcom's up over 2%, Abbott's up over 6%. And I think this is going to rally for a good little while here. Some growth story.